Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 460. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Sellner,
Baby Park,
Mark Augustiniak.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week, Season 10 continues with Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube. We'll talk about it in detail and rank it amongst the rest of our list, which of course you can follow along with over at thefreecheese.com/thelist. But first, Matt, Mark, when was the last time you went go-karting and where?
Ooh. I don't know the name of the place.
is it the one around here, the Autobahn?
Maybe? Off Plasky?
The one by the paintball
Yeah.
place?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that the last
that's
time?
the one.
So, how long ago was that?
This was early at my last job, so like 2015-ish.
Oh, wow.
Mine's
Huh.
probably earlier. It's definitely... We usually went there for my brother's birthday some years. That was just like a thing we did. Gosh, I couldn't even... Maybe early 2000s?
Is my memory... The track's pretty small there, right?
You got like that normal one, and then you got like the slick track next to it. But yeah, they tend to be pretty small. And I think crap, I
You
forgot
found
like
the right place?
some amusement parks have go-kart stuff too.
Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah, I know
dabble
there's
with
one
that,
at the
though.
beach. Yeah. There's some fun
Yeah,
ones. I like the ones where you get a good, I like a solid, minute and a half lap. I think that's a good, perfect lap time for a go-kart track. But yeah, that one, it's very small. It's like 20 seconds and you're done.
They built like an indoor one, not too long ago, like a couple years
Yeah.
back. I haven't been to that one, but I would like to check that one out.
Because I think it's expensive, right? Isn't it like $120 a ride?
It's something like that. Like you got to book it ahead of time. You can do last minute stuff, but you're going to be grouped with people you don't know. So if you want to do a thing with friends, you got to do all this reservation stuff.
Because they're like real. They're not like full. They're not like go-karts. They're like a little bit more proper of a car, right?
Is that the one you're talking about? That's like you can see on 695.
95.
Okay, never mind. I think we're thinking of different spots.
It's nearby that, I think. It's just a little out of the way, but same area. But yeah, like that one's just it's a little more, I guess.
That's the one by the movie theater and all that.
The one I'm thinking of is more in like the Middle River area.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I should go seeking out a good go-kart thing. I do know that there's a company that had a lawsuit a lawsuit filed against it in Japan.
Oh yeah.
What were they called? I think they were called Mario Kart or something like that.
Oh, great.
Where you would straight up rent these go-karts and people were driving them around the streets of Tokyo. And then of course people would inherently dress up like Mario characters and do that whole thing. But yeah, that became a whole whatever. And yeah, not affiliated with Nintendo, but became a thing. A fun time. Mario Kart Double Dash is our game of the week. First and only released on the Nintendo GameCube in 2003. November 7th in Japan, November 17th in North America. Developed by Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, our good friends at Nintendo EAD. And of course, published by Nintendo. Your back of the box quote reads, "Take all the crazy action of the celebrated Mario Kart series and multiply it by 2. In Mario Kart Double Dash," and that's Double Dash with 2 exclamation points, Each cart holds 2 racers that can switch places at any time, so choose from a huge cast of favorites and pair them up any way you see fit. I did not expect to like this game as much as I did. Not that I didn't think it was good, but just, I think we all have our Mario Kart. I know this was Matt's Mario Kart. Mine was 64, and then I've, played other ones since, obviously, but I'd not played a ton of this one outside of maybe here or there to friends or something like that, back then. And I really, really liked this one. Matt, I want to hear all of your trials and tribulations with Mario Kart Double Dash through the years, but Mark, what was your previous experience with Double Dash prior to this week?
I definitely owned it on GameCube when it came out. I can't remember if this came with a demo disc or this was a demo on a disc.
This came with some kind of bonus disc. I never had that. I never knew what was on it or had it.
Yeah, it was a demo disc or something like that. Okay, so yeah, it was this. So yeah, that's the version I had. And I haven't touched it. Like, I haven't played this game prior to this. Like, I haven't played it since I've had it back then. I think there was a point where I had to sell all my GameCube games to pay off a ticket for running a red light. And that was one of them. I had to trade it in because I didn't have a job yet. And I never, and like some of the games I got back over the years, primarily my Zelda games. I was most hurt by losing those, but I did not retrieve Double Dash. That one never came back. It didn't.
Was that by choice or?
A little bit.
Ooh.
There was like, that was a game that I always wanted to like, and then I remembered why I didn't like it.
So why didn't you like it? And I guess did that change now that you've revisited it?
So it's funny because like I didn't remember, like, playing this now resurfaced all of that. I had no ill will towards it up until now. And it's just maybe it just hasn't aged well for me. Especially in a post Mario Kart 8 Deluxe world. Just seeing how everything handles, and the Double Dash itself, I don't think is that great of a mechanic. You get like a fart's worth of a boost every time. Like, it doesn't like, compared to Mario Kart 8, you don't travel far with it. You constantly have to do it in order to get some like decent length with it, but I don't think it's a strong suit for me. So I barely used it, which is probably part of the problem. But
can you define the Double Dash for the listener who might be?
So like when you're turning and you have to hold in the shoulder button and some sparks will appear underneath your tire. The cool thing is that you can activate it really quickly. So as you're turning, you have to hit like left and right to upgrade the tier of the dash. So you get 2 tiers above the main one, which is the Double Dash. You only get that little boost once you hit the blue. So it goes yellow, red, blue. Once you get the blue, you get that little boost. If you're in a red, you don't really get it. As to Mario Kart 8, when you're doing that dash, you just have to wait for it to charge. You can't speed up the process. So I guess that's the trade-off. So yeah, it's basically that. And with the drivers, Matt, you might have to confirm or deny this for me, because I'm not too sure, but it felt like, depending on the characters you picked, really dictated the way your car moves.
That is correct.
Okay. And so that back of the box thing, I don't know, I would take that with a grain of salt. You gotta be like depending on your characters will greatly determine how your car handles, and it's more against you than it is for you, I feel. Especially if you pick a heavy class.
So I think since Mario Kart Double Dash, because you bring up a good point of choosing your racer dictates kind of how you'll play. The one after Double Dash would have been just Mario Kart Wii, and that was the first one to introduce. I'm sorry, no, there was DS. But the one on Wii introduced bikes for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
The 3DS one introduced the flying, the gliding. And then 8, the big thing in 8 was gravity and adding in some characters that were non-Mario as well. But I think another piece with Double Dash, it was the first time you really had to consider who you were driving and what car you had at your disposal. And I think that's kind of a unique piece to this one. That I felt the, pun intended, weight of my choice in this one more than any of the later ones. I feel like in Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe and all that, like I don't know, you can kind of just pick what you like. Where this, I felt like I should be a little strategic with which kart I choose and those sorts of things. I feel like the consequence of your choices in the later games is a lot lessened. Is that accurate, or do you think, I don't know, Matt, you are the Double Dash expert.
Yeah, I think your cast of characters, or whoever you end up picking as your two drivers, has a huge bearing in how you play this game or how you want to play this game. I mean, for me, I always drive with a DK. If I'm in the heavyweight class, I have Donkey Kong. If I need to stay light for someone else because I don't have the heavy car I like unlocked yet, I usually stay light, so I get that 4 acceleration, 2 speed. I have to sacrifice weight, which I get pushed around the track a little bit, but it's fine. But like, I'll have Diddy Kong, and with the character selection, that indicates your special item. Each character, or each, I guess, set of characters from very similar, like your babies, your regular Mario, Luigi, your Toad and Toadette, the Koopas. Like each pairing has their special pickup, which you can get randomly. But like, I always considered myself a front runner, so I would always pick a DK, so that way I have a giant banana. I would constantly get it, so that way I could throw it behind me. Because getting someone else's special that is for like a comeback mechanic, I never triggered it. So I just kind of learned to adapt how I played with the characters I would select. So yeah, like your cast of characters is a big deal, and your car as well. And then depending on the size of your characters, and that's where, Mark, when you pick a bigger character like a Bowser or a DK or something like that, that's why you go into these heavier cars instead of these lighter cars, and you get different options, especially when you're first starting this game and you don't have all the cars unlocked. You're going to find that the smaller cars at first are very acceleration based, and the heavyweight cars are very top speed based. And then, of course, that evens out as you unlock the cars and do all the different cups and whatever. But yeah, no, that initial thing, you kind of have to, I don't know, you have to play around a little bit. But I think once you kind of get to know the tracks and whatever, that's kind of where you kind of best figure out your pairing that you want to go with.
So talking about the game experience this time around, especially, because again, my previous time with it is pretty limited, I would say. This may be blasphemy depending on who's listening, but playing this game made me miss Billy Hatcher. Or rather, maybe not miss, but have a certain nostalgia for us playing Billy Hatcher at the top of this year.
I get you.
But really, to me, Mario Kart Double Dash is the most Sega that a Nintendo game has felt, maybe ever, if not in a while. But it's kind of just raw, and it's rough around the edges. Like, it's not a polished experience. I ended up, like, obviously, I think we're all pretty intimately familiar with 8 at this point. But I played some 8 after this, and I went back to 64 as well. And even 64 has a bit of polish to it that this doesn't have. Not that this is, like, unrefined. I'm not trying to say that it's not, but this just feels like, I don't know, man. There's something, like, very Sega about this. It's like they did it. They got the mechanic. It's not perfect. Like, you could tell that, like, they tried some different things, and I think there's a reason, maybe internally, why they've not revisited a lot of the things within Double Dash since, right? Like, the dual character swapping, the character specific items. I don't think we've seen since this game. There's just a lot to it that has not been done again, and I feel like that's because this is probably looked at as like, you know, it's that one, right? I don't know. I get that impression, and it, you know, I read a little bit about the development cycle of this, where like they did kind of have a tough time. Like they got to a certain point in development where they almost didn't call this Mario Kart because it had changed so much from what a core kart experience was with this double mechanic that it felt like not a Mario Kart game. And I really dig that. Like I love that it does not. It feels different. It feels like a different type of development happened. I think like kind of along the same lines we talked Pikmin last week, Pikmin 3 specifically, but thinking back to Pikmin 1, like it's a weird game for Nintendo to make. Like it is a Nintendo game, but it's different. It's super weird. You know, same thing with this, same thing with a couple of the GameCube experiments, if you'll call them that. Like there was this sort of, they'd gone through the N64, and now Nintendo's in a period where it's comfortable with 3D, but not necessarily thriving in 3D, but comfortable with it and excited to explore the boundaries of what they can do on new hardware. And I kind of got the sense of that from playing this, just this like, it was a new opportunity for them that was exciting, but they also didn't know how far to take it. But I think it's so good. And a big thing like that I appreciated was about it was that it was its self, and it was its core experience with no more and no less, right? Like it defined, okay, we're going to race karts, we're going to have this dual mechanic, we're going to have big tracks, and that's it, right? Like there's not anything extra, there's not anything less. It just is exactly what it is. I know there's the battle mode, and then there's the opportunity to play co-op and stuff like that, but it just is what it is, man. And I really, really liked it. I don't know. Is that a Matt? You've got like the longest history with this, and I know it's close to you. So, like, am I completely off by calling it a Sega game? Does that feel like an insult, or?
I don't think it's an insult, but I think you're right. I guess like I've been playing this for so long, and I've done so many laps, right, and all these different courses that I guess like I've never considered like the polished part of it, because it is what it is. And I still to this day, I mean, I've played enough Mario Kart 8, but it's not even close to the hour count that I have in Double Dash. And I guess there's that level of polish in 8 or whatever, but I don't know. I don't think you're wrong. I guess I got into the point where I just don't pay attention to that anymore. Like it's a Mario, like it is the Mario Kart game. It is probably the Mario Kart game I play the most. It's not the first. But I did not play much 64. I never really had a friend that had an N64. So it was like Super Nintendo's Mario Kart, and then like this one probably, and then this one just, you know, hours and hours and hours. And just like, just to describe the background where this comes from, like this is like all year, like year and a half of like playing this like constantly. It would like be me and my friends. Like we either like, especially during the summer, like go outside, like play soccer or basketball, or, you know, do whatever, and come in, play Mario Kart like for hours. And it was the perfect amount of friends. And you're gonna look at me like, no, that's not the perfect number. But we had 5. There was 5 of us, and the GameCube supports 4. So you know what that means? Loser gives up the paddle, and it made us competitive. I mean, we were having fun and stuff, but it made us competitive, and it made us master these courses. We each had our signature pairing, and like we kind of configured them so no one was conflicting with one another. We all had our cars, and it would just be hours of pass the paddle. And some of those hours, and this is why I always like make fun of, or not make fun of, but I always cherish Baby Park as being the best track ever. It would be hours straight on Baby Park alone. Not on any of the other courses, just Baby Park races. And just the mass mayhem that course presents itself once you have all these different cars. And by lap 5, you have all these bananas, these shells are flying everywhere, random mushrooms and stars are all over the place, and just perfecting that driving line around that corner with that double dash drift. Yeah, like that was like a year and a half, maybe 2, like just constant. So that's the background. That's why this has so many hours, and I I guess know the mechanics of this game so well, so intimately. But I don't think you're wrong with saying that if it feels like a Sega game, because I guess it doesn't. When you start to think about it, I guess it doesn't have as much polish. But I'm not as familiar with these other Mario Kart games as this one. And I never will be. Like, I'm at an age where I'm not going to play Mario Kart for 500 hours.
What if they put out Double Dash 2?
Well, maybe 250 hours, but God, I mean, just prepare for this episode. I dumped another 5 hours in, just doing 150 cc's and stuff. So good luck, right?
The big thing I noticed, where I call it a Sega game, is that the 3D models feel stitched together, and the way that everything kind of because, and I think it's by the nature of that you can swap out characters and carts, and there's no set whatever. I feel like before, the player and the cart were one unit, where now the player is very much independent of the cart, or the character, I should say, is independent of the cart. You are the player. And the fact that you're swapping, it just never feels like those two characters are meant to be together, and they're not meant to be on that cart always. And that's the part where it just feels like, I don't know, a little off, but in a good way. You brought up an interesting point in your talk of childhood summers, of the track mastery, and I feel like I picked up on that very quickly in this, where I really liked that these stages, more than any Mario Kart, I think, as you're racing through them, shortcuts are just outside of your line of vision, right? You kind of are always locked in where you need to go, but there's always something just inviting you to look over there and see what's happening and try something else. And I kept wanting to replay the cups so I could, or I was excited when I'd see something on lap 1 so that I could get to lap 2 and try it again. And they weren't always easy, and they weren't always whatever, but they were always logical. Some of them, it was you get used to the way that tracks are built, and you start to think like the designer, where you're like, oh, wait, even a new track, or a track that was seemingly new, you end up thinking wait a second, I think there might be a shortcut over there. And sure enough, there would be, or whatever. Do you feel like that was something that was integral into success of
it was, I think, all these
defeating your friends?
All these shortcuts were risk reward, right? I always think of the Yoshi circuit, the grass ramp shortcut, right? But you need a mushroom or a golden mushroom. But it was perfect if you had Toad or Toadette. They're unlockable, so they're not on the original cast here, just like Petey Piranha and King Boo. But if you had a golden mushroom, you were mashing that thing right over the grass, and you would jump, how many different spots. Same thing, I can't remember the name. I'm looking at I pulled them up because I knew I was going to reference all of them. Mushroom City is the highway, the night highway one. There's that middle, so the first intersection, you kind of go straight or right. But if you stay straight, you see this little purple carpet kind of thing. You can go in there, but it's so windy and curvy that if you hit the wall, you kind of lose time. You kind of just screwed it up. So you have to drive that section perfectly with your drifts and whatever. There's just so much risk reward to the shortcuts that they were perfect comeback mechanics. But if you're in the front, maybe you just, instead of falling off the map, you just kind of race your regular line there.
Mark, did you have a favorite character combination?
I think back then, I liked. I think I liked the baby characters, or Bowser Jr. But this time around, I tried Wario and Daisy, and I think that was the best I was gonna get with finding a decent balance, because I tried Wario and Baby Luigi, and turning was a nightmare. I even tried Wario and Donkey Kong together, and turning still felt like a nightmare for some reason, when I thought it wasn't.
It's the car. As soon as you lock yourself into a heavy character in that heavy class of cars, if you would have went Baby, or like Mario, like a Mario Peach and Baby, that's probably where you had your most success at. It would probably have felt better.
Yeah, I guess I just assumed that a heavier car wouldn't be as loose of turning. and I just felt like I couldn't stay straight on any road. I was just constantly just wobbling, trying to find my equilibrium or whatever. And yeah, but for some reason having Daisy paired with Wario just felt like a better balance, for the most part. And regardless of, I know like I was only like limited to like 3 cars once you're picking the heavyweight class, which I usually never pick heavyweight in Mario Kart. I usually like the lighter, faster characters. But Wario's like convertible is in this, and I couldn't like not pick it. So I was just trying to make that work as best as I could.
I think that control of it too is a little bit of what made it feel Sega-esque to me. But yeah, I had a ton of fun with this game. And I'm like kind of mad that I never had it. I mean, I never had a GameCube properly. I didn't get a GameCube until after the Wii, but you know, I'd never really given this one a huge amount of time. I feel like this was one that like I would see at like a Burger King or something, at those random Burger Kings or McDonald's or whatever that had GameCubes, but never really played a ton of it. The thing that stood out to me track-wise, in addition to the shortcuts, is that I feel like every track was unique from the last. And it's now with Mario Kart Tour on the phone, and now with 8 Deluxe getting every track that's ever made for any Mario Kart ever, there are a few that end up feeling pretty similar. And I felt like Double Dash, every track felt different, and they all felt fun to play. Like, I don't think there's a track that I dislike in this game. And it's also, now that I'm revisiting it, like, these are the tracks I think that got remade first. When you start looking at like the DS game, I think was the first one that started to bring back old tracks. And then I think it's because of this game and how well the tracks were made that I think they wanted to bring back the tracks. Maybe if my like theory that this is kind of like the guarded or the internally disliked Mario Kart, maybe they still liked the tracks and they brought it back. Like this is the Wii U of Mario Kart games, where they just wanted to make sure that the good stuff still lived in some fashion. But I really liked, like, I can't think of a track that I didn't like.
Dry Desert. Dry Desert and Sherbet Land, the ice one. Always fucking, I hate it. They felt boring because I think they were relatively flat. Like there wasn't anything fun. That my favorite pack of tracks is that Star Cup. Like that track is bangers, all the way through. Or no, it's the Star Cup's the last one, right? I said that right? Yeah. Or is it Special Cup?
Yeah. Well, you unlock Special Cup.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, Special Cup. Special Cup is the one.
Special
it's just
Cup.
Bangers. Warrior Coliseum.
Yeah, that was Wario.
The Bowser's Castle, the Rainbow Road.
Yeah.
Is it Waluigi Stadium?
I think that's the cup before.
Okay, then which one?
Then it's like Wario's Grundle or something.
I mean, yeah,
it's Wario's Coliseum, Bowser's Castle. I'm looking at all the tracks. Which one am I missing?
Is that final one the one that had the Donkey Kong Mountain one with the weird like wall driving you have to do?
Star Cup has DK
before.
Mountain.
Yeah.
Which is like my second favorite map in the game.
A really, really good
I
track.
love that map.
This time around,
I can't remember the fourth one.
I didn't like the city where all the cars just said, you know what, fuck laws of traffic, and start hitting you. No matter where you went, these cars were swerving, they were drunk, they did not...
Yep.
Like, if anything felt like a Sega game, in terms of, hey, you got good momentum, but then something bullshit stops you, it's that one.
See, but they weren't, to me, like in Toad's Turnpike on 64, you hit a car there and you fly straight up into the air and it feels like 45 seconds pass before you're driving again.
At least most of them are going the same, like, they kind of care about where
usually
they
in Toad's Turnpike, it's your fault.
Yeah. At first I was like, oh, wait, maybe this is like Japan rules. Maybe I gotta be on the left side of the road or something. No, it doesn't matter. Both lanes, it don't matter. everyone swerves everywhere. But now I see the appreciation for Baby Park even more because it's the most plain, it's the most simple until a few laps in. But just design wise, it's the most basic. So I appreciate it. Actually, I carried
Dino Jungle is the fourth in that special cup.
Dino.
The dinosaurs stomping around in that little cave area. So yeah, I guess I was gonna ask, like, what tracks kind of stuck out, especially like this is like your first true playthrough on a number of these cups.
That Donkey Kong one was a big one that stood out. Because again, the other thing too is that a lot of the ones in here I do know just from predominantly their appearance in Mario Kart 8, but a lot of these are in Tour as well. Like, I had never played Dino Jungle in this, but I'd played it in Tour a lot. So it actually screwed me up because Tour has a lot of kind of like easy things to do as you're driving. So playing this in the GameCube version, it was like, oh wait, that shortcut I need to have a boost for. Where, like, in the mobile version you can just go for it. It's fine, no big deal. But yeah, I think that Donkey Kong, was it Donkey Kong Mountain? Is that what you could
DK Mountain.
What was it called?
Yeah. It's iconic.
That one I liked a lot. That little snaking path, just, it's so good when you hit those curves right and you double dash appropriately. Like, that's so rewarding.
So if you can perfect your curve, I'll give you the shortcut DK Mountain. Not the first, not the second, but the third one. There is a little bit of a lip and level, and there's no gate. Mm-hmm. If you hit that drift right, or you have a mushroom, you can just cut that last drift and go boop, and then turn left.
And that lets you avoid the potential pitfall too,
yes.
Right? So
yes,
yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, but you have to go over that pitfall at the right elevation jump.
Yeah.
So if you want to name these tracks, I'll tell you the fucking pro tip.
No, this is what I love, man. Mark, what about you?
I like the Wario Coliseum.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So the Wario Coliseum is not a. Here's your pro tip, eSports tip. You don't. I don't think there's a good shortcut besides maybe that middle jump. Is that big bowl area, and if you line up that middle jump, which isn't hard, there's enough times where I've missed it, but if you just line up that middle jump and get that double mystery box, you can go through. But the thing with Wario Coliseum, there's a lot of those like speed boost ramps. If you put a like a trap item, like a banana, the fake mystery box, right at the lip of that, they will spin out and not make the jump and go off course. So I was always infamous for putting a giant fucking banana at the very lip of that of those things, and good luck trying to avoid them. And now, of course, on lap 2, I would have to start to avoid the carnage that I, created. But no, for those fine folks behind me, they always got a banana right at the lip of all those.
Yeah, and that's a 2-lap map.
Yes, it's that the lap is so long.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Whatever.
Well, when it comes back, just interrupt. But what do you think this game is missing?
A boo stage.
Okay, that's exactly where I was.
Yeah, it doesn't have one.
You got King Boo, but you don't have a boo stage.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't like a good haunted house kind of.
No.
That was.
I guess Bowser's Castle's the closest you're going to get to.
It's the closest, but yeah, definitely.
I don't even like as much as I play this, I like 8's Bowser Castle way better.
Yeah.
The eSports tip for the Bowser's Castle: you can last leg. It's that double straight, and you kind of go around, and the fireballs are coming at you, or like with you if you go the other side, the very end of the map. Ooh, excuse me. Where those fireballs are coming out, there's a little gap. If the Bowser's fireball is not going to hit you, you can time your drift perfectly through that little gap and avoid the whole U-turn going around. And if you do it perfectly, you can drift and hold that drift into the straightaway. And then if you waggle, be blue. Also, I wanted to point this out. I pulled out the GameCube controller. I don't know how well the mic's going to pick this up, but whenever we were playing in their basement, it would be. You talked about the double dash and the waggle. It would constant, like, the GameCube has that good pronounced joystick plastic. That's all you heard the entire time downstairs. It'd be triggers at ×4, and it'd be loud as shit. Like, you couldn't even hear the TV sometimes because we were waggling so much. Because, again, we kind of got the technique down. So
it just sounds like you're playing Smash.
So when I was playing it, I would just remember the wag. Like, I went to waggle. Oh shit, yeah, I remember this noise a lot.
Well, I think there was even a point somewhere, I don't remember when, but we were playing Mario Kart 8, and you instinctively just started doing that. We were
all
here. I remember you doing it, and you were like, you're like, wait, never mind. That doesn't happen here.
I do that sometimes, too. If it's been a while since I played 8, I'm like, how do you... Oh, that's right. You don't have to just hold it anymore.
Yeah.
You should be able to do it, though. I do like the fact that you can command it sooner than like, you know...
Yeah, if you got good at it, you have blue in no time.
Yeah.
But
I think they should have kept that in the future ones.
Yeah, I never remember what I was going to say.
Least favorite item? That's my question. Because I don't know about y'all, but the lightning bolt, if that went away, I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I could do without the lightning bolt.
Was this the introduction of the blue shell, or
no? I think 64 was.
64 had it, yeah.
Yeah, that blue shell.
This added a lot of items, though, compared to 64.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. You brought up DK Mountain. Like, that bridge, we've all seen that famous gif of the guy just getting fucked left and right. Us, as a group of friends, knew how to do that to each other well before that gif for that little fucking video came out.
Oh,
the bridge at the end of DK Mountain. Yeah. There's like a video that always goes around from time to time.
I think
like where the guy gets hit with like three shell, like a blue shell, a red shell, a green shell, and then like finally falls off the bridge because of the way it swings. I just wanted, like, well before that video became like a viral thing. My group of friends, we were doing that to each other left and right. Again, big bananas everywhere on that bridge.
I don't think I've seen that video, but I can imagine that.
The video I'm thinking of is where...
And I think that's one of the interesting things about Double Dash is the way the levels are drawn out. Like, there are so many opportunities for weird stuff like that where... I don't know, I feel like a lot of the other tracks, I think I shouldn't be totally dismissive, but this definitely had a uniqueness to them. I'll put it that way. I'll be succinct with that.
Did you guys like ever start to get into like the mechanics of like having two drivers and mixing them up at all times?
So that was the thing I did not really wrap my head around. I figured I was missing something by not playing this co-op. That there was probably an element to having two players each controlling a character that I was missing out on. Or that I was just missing some element of it. Because for me, I kind of just, for a good bulk of it, just to like get a feel for each character, I would actually do the random character selection and let it pick two drivers for me before I'd pick my own or anything, just to see like how they all felt. And I would try to swap them on the fly and see whatever. And I noticed that obviously it dictated certain item things and whatever. But yeah, it just didn't... No, I didn't. But yeah, if you can explain why or how or what, like that would be...
Mark, did you before I
know I was missing something.
No, I usually just... I would have predetermined favorites and just hope for the best.
So, whoever was in the back dictated the item, and at least according to specials. So, like for me, I usually kept a DK in the back whenever possible, unless I was behind. Then I will swap to I usually run one of the Koopas, so that way I can get my 3 shell special to try to make a little bit of a comeback. But like with that though, like a good example of this is Peach Beach. So when you're coming off the sand and you're going back onto the sidewalk up towards where the finish line is, there's like those swapping item boxes left and right. If like you don't have to commit to just one, if you grab one at the very beginning and switch drivers, like you'll get a second item, and that driver holds onto the item. So there were opportunities where you could get 2 items at one time, but not need a double box if you knew when to switch your drivers. and opportunities like that. And then you bring up the co-op. The co-op was like this fun scientific experiment of like your friend's left brain and you control your right brain, and just trying to figure out how to like, it's almost the same as playing like two hands on one controller essentially. Just knowing when to swap, like when you got the double box, knowing like, all right, I'm taking over. So person who was a driver was in control of driving and drifting and whatever else, and the person in the back was in charge of throwing, or if you, I don't know, if you hit R and left, like it kind of hops a little bit. Like you can do that to like knock people away, especially if you have a heavier car. That's where the benefit of a heavier car comes in. So like person in the back would be in charge of that, or like, you know, like if you saw like an item and they had no time to react, like you could quickly like try to dodge away from it if you could. But no, like that was such a fun thing. Like me and a friend, like when we were trying to like unlock cars or whatever, instead of just one of us playing through a whole Grand Prix, especially the all cup one, which takes like an hour and 15 minutes, we would try to do a co-op. And yeah, like it took us a couple times, but like once you kind of get used to how each of you play, we kind of knew like what tracks, like, and especially even like you got into like the sectors or sections of the maps, or you kind of knew which one was the better driver. Like we would pass the buck, but then also like depending on where we were at position wise and what character we were, like, you know, like I always made my co-op partner be DK, and I was probably comeback mechanic, whether it was like a Toad, baby with a chain, you know, something like that. So like the driver I know I think the advanced, when you get more advanced with it, that's when the whole like driver switching stuff comes into play. And I feel like they didn't take quite advantage of that, and so like letting it be known like, hey, if you're going through a row of things that are moving around, like switch your drivers. It was just kind of something like we found out.
This is the part I'm having some weird memory issues with, like playing by yourself. Yeah, like you have to swap characters to pick up another item or what have you, and to use whatever item they're holding, right? But in co-op, I could have swore that the driver didn't have to switch. He could just pass the shit to you in the back, and then you could just be full on.
Oh yeah, you can.
Be the item person.
I forgot about that.
And I was trying to do that for the life of me in single player. I was just trying to pass stuff back because I didn't want to have to switch all the time. It's so annoying. I was like, am I going crazy? Right? Like that.
Oh, you just I completely forgot about that. Yeah, you have to, like, the driver has to hit the throw button and then they toss it back.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Well, but
yeah.
I looked at the controls for this, and I don't remember actually doing it successfully now that I'm thinking about it, but I think it was like X is the item, but Y is to pass the item backwards. I don't know if that still worked in single player or not.
Oh, I have no idea.
I was trying
because I assume, like me, you guys were always hitting X for the item because it's an easy roll of the thumb.
They auto switch on you too.
Yeah,
there's that too. Yeah,
it would auto switch. And then like I think being in the back, I was always like the item person whenever I was playing the co-op stuff, and I love just like punching people whenever they would drive by. The single player back person, it kind of does it automatically, and I did notice with the weight class with that, being heavy you're still kind of a pushover. Like when people punch you, like you still get like, I thought there'd be a little more resistance to it, but nah, you still get kind of like get your ass thrown around. So it's like, you gotta be careful.
Depends who you're running into. I know like if you run into that little like the baby stroller thing that the light class had, like you could push that thing around. But I think like if you were in Bowser's cart versus Wario's car, I think, you know, whoever initiate is going to get the upper hand there.
Yeah.
I did try to on my last time playing it, I guess I paid more attention to some of the I guess I got used to Mario Kart 8 a little bit. So you know how like I don't is Mushroom Bridge in Mario Kart 8? That's the one with the traffic and the big bridge is in daytime.
Right. I don't remember being on it.
All right, well, maybe
I don't think so, but I'm banging
maybe
it.
There's another like highway thing that I'm thinking of, but like some of the cars are mushroom cars.
Yeah.
And like if you hit them in Mario Kart 8, you kind of get a boost off them. So I tried to do that in Double Dash in my revisit, thinking that was a mechanic in this, and that's definitely not. Like you hit them, you stop, a mushroom pops out, but like it could be nowhere near you.
Yeah. They try to shoot it ahead of you, but
it's
always
totally
work.
Off your racing line. It's not worth it.
Did you ever on that bridge? Did you ever risk taking the rail? That's
not this last time because I never needed to, but I tried that as with friends when I needed to. Not it's hard. It's very hard.
I had like a 10% chance of like a success rate with that one.
That was always my worst shortcut. I never, unless it was bad, I never tried that. I just try to go straight.
So, Matt, that one is not in 8, but you might be thinking it's in Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics. So,
okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's in Mario Kart DS.
I never played DS either, so.
Yeah, so you pointing out all of the strategy and how you'd analyze what your strengths were and how to optimize, you really should play Monster Hunter, Matt. Like you really ought to just grab the demo before it's gone forever, sink yourself in. Yeah. Double Dash, I think I would like to see them bring back a Double Dash mode. I don't think I want a full game where it's this again, but I would love to see specifically where it's co-op and it's online co-op. Like, I don't know. As they're looking for more things to branch out that online expansion pass stuff, like, yeah, we've got the extra courses and stuff built in, but I think adding in an actual Double Dash mode would be an interesting online mechanic.
And I kind of like the idea of your character mattering a little bit too. I mean, it wasn't like you get your special a lot. I mean, what, 20% chance on average, 15, especially depending on what character you were or where you were in the order. Like, you're never going to get the baby's, like, ball and chain in first place. So, I don't, like, even just that little bit of making a difference, I thought was cool and kind of made you care about your cast of characters a little bit.
Yeah. This is also where the whole Daisy meme came from. One of the people working on the game provided the voice for Daisy, but only provided like 2 lines or something like that. So a lot of her voice cycles is just her saying, "Hi, I'm Daisy," when it was only meant for the character selection screen. But they use it for like almost every. If we pass by somebody, she'll just like say hi. Or
it's my favorite part. Anytime that I did a lot of random, but anytime Daisy ended up on my thing, I ended up like, now I only want to have Daisy as one of my characters because of that. It's very good. Was this the first game that had Hi, I'm Daisy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it carried over into other games or it's just the meme's just been that strong.
I've definitely heard her say it in other things, so yeah.
And,
so with Double Dash, and I think the special items, because that was exclusive to this one, to bring that back, like, is the next step for that to actually go full Nintendo Kart with a new Mario Kart, or do you think there's room to do it with another just Mario Kart proper, or what would you want? I guess what are your hopes? Or does the special thing even need to be in a Mario Kart game? Maybe that too.
It might not need to. I think the further, I think this DLC, this latest string of tracks on 8, I really think they were probably gearing those tracks, like kind of thinking that would be in a 9, but they couldn't play test a good new idea, so they just kind of settled on 8, and already it's built up success as being one of the better Switch titles. Yeah, I think we're starting to step into your Nintendo Kart more and more, just to kind of give it a fresh branding and not like this big expectation of like what's the new feature in Mario Kart, right?
Well, yeah, because I think like, to your point, like adding in all of these old courses, it's kind of the send-off for Mario Kart in a way. This 8 Deluxe, like they're making it the pinnacle version of Mario Kart, and now let's move forward with what's new in Nintendo Kart Brothers.
Or they can
Mark,
just
what do you think?
I was just say they could do the Resident Evil thing where, especially with 7, or that's what I'm referring to, 7, where it was just, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard 7, Resident Evil. Just, just call it Nintendo Kart, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, yeah.
I think it'd be neat to see, I think WarioWare needs more, representation. They have a good cast of characters. I think they should come in and hijack Mario Kart and let it be like a little rivalry kind of thing going on.
I would not hate stealing some mechanics from Sonic Team Racing. I know I really, really like that team aspect of racing. I thought that was new for Carter, and it felt fresh. Again, I think that game has its problems, but like if you put that system into probably a more polished Mario Kart game with a bigger cast of characters, where you can have like Team Wario, Team Bowser and my fucking boy Roy, or sorry, it's just Team Roy and Bowser's the sidekick. Mario, Luigi, the babies with Peach and Daisy. Like there's I think so much. Or just have the babies as a team because they're all represented now in 8. Like you having all these different teams. Not that you can't cross you can't pick Mario with Bowser or whatever, but just kind of getting that idea like all these teams are coming into it. I think that'd be really cool to have if we're doing 12 on a track. How many are on a track in 8? Is it 12? Or is it 16?
Sounds right. I think it's 12.
Yeah, 12 sounds right, but
well, if
maybe it's
okay, all right. So if it's 12, just do 4 teams of 3. I think that would be interesting to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some items could maybe take a page from Smash's playbook, where maybe you need more than one item box to build an item or something. That way, it's not spammed as much, or. I don't know, where it's but you have to hold on to it, so there's that risk of not using anything else and getting targeted by everyone else and not being able to defend yourself. I think more item meta I think would be great.
Would you guys? I don't know how do you implement this on the fly. I'm sure it's some kind of wheel menu, but would you guys be cool with use coins in Mario Kart 8? Almost felt like a waste. Now I know they say they do your top speed. It never felt like that. I felt like I was going just as fast with 2 coins as opposed to 10.
Yeah, I don't care for coins.
But using that coin system as a currency to buy some items, still have your pickups, of course, and that would be your shells and your bananas. But using the coins to maybe potentially buy a blue shell, or if you're a front runner with, a little bit more, costs a little bit more than a blue shell, but some kind of defense to the blue shell or something, so you're not totally fucked over, but you're not buying, the items you're getting suck. You saved all that for a blue shell, but you could easily be hit with a red shell or a banana that's on the track or something like this. Playing with the currency a little bit and pulling up a menu to quickly buy something on a wheel.
Okay. You might be able to do something Counter-Strike where before the race starts, spend whatever you want to start with an item and then go in with that.
Yeah, you can do that at the Grand Prix. It's a set of 4. Yeah, I think that might be better. I think that's the solution. You do a Grand Prix online, you just commit to 15 minutes for 4 races, and then between each, you're at the starting grid. Sorry, I know that's not Mario Kart terms, but you're at the starting grid, and you just, instead of it being immediately a 3, 2, 1, it's a 10, 9, 8, and then you buy your shit, and then you be ready for your 3, 2, 1 speed boost.
I thought you were saying, do you want to use the currency to buy car parts? Because that's what I didn't like about 8, was every time I had to boot the game up, I unlocked a new thing, and you always unlock them in that order. You don't get to pick and choose what you want to get right away. So it's you have to collect a certain amount of coins each time to get the next thing.
Yeah.
It just felt like a grind.
It never felt like an actual reward. It felt like an afterthought. I don't know. Yeah, that was a weird one. No, I think the buying an item mechanic would be neat. There's something that did that. Well, Sonic and All Stars kind of does that with the jackpot machine, the slot machine.
Yeah, and
before a race, but that's a little different.
And Diddy Kong Racing had it to where you could accumulate items. So like, if you got one rocket, you could get 2 or 3, and it would become like a bigger, stronger rocket, or
the mega. Yeah. That's it. That was a good mechanic.
Yeah, do stuff like that, and if you go like if you take the team idea, like you like have like a team like. You know, do you do it on an individual car? Do you use it for the across the team? Like, like play with those mechanics a little bit. I really think there was something really cool with Sonic Team Racing and that team mechanic. It got wasted.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I like the idea that Mark had last week with Pikmin to kind of cross-pollinate or cross-breed Pikmin. Like, what if you pick up a red shell and then you pick up an item box, and instead of it being a dead item because you can't collect a second thing on top of it, you end up I don't know, you combine a red shell with a star, and the red shell is invincible and can pass through walls and moves fast and has a perfect alignment, but I don't know, something stupid like that.
Get an umbrella for the lightning,
or just get rid of the lightning. Just remove it from the. It's been there since the beginning. It's been there since Super Nintendo. It can. That
Take
and
what
was it?
Well,
the crazy.
Yeah, I really like the idea of defense items. The more I think about it.
Yeah, I think.
Because right now
like a windshield wiper for the oil slick.
Super horn.
Yeah, I think what makes a good item in Mario Kart is that can it also be deflected? Because like like a blue shell, if you have that horn, you can get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, like the shells seem fair. The mushrooms are fine because that all depends on you anyway. Like,
and a lot of it's placed too. Like I'm all for like loading up 10 position 10 with stuff to get them back in the race, but like don't let it affect the front runners until they're up there. Blue shell.
Yeah. Is there another company that could use a kart racer? We've had a lot, and there's probably more than you even realize are out there, but...
Another company?
Any other company or cast of characters that you would like to see in a kart racer?
I still like the WarioWare idea, but...
WarioWare Racer would be pretty good.
I guess outside of Nintendo...
I don't know. My mind's on wrestling, so let's do a dumb WWE kart racer, and then like have tracks going backstage, and then like items are, I don't know, like a Kane fireball or Undertaker lightning strike, or
oh my gosh,
The Rock just being on the track and just running into him, and he doesn't flinch, but your car gets destroyed. Stone Cold give a middle finger in the middle of the screen, like the oil slicks, but you can't see the screen at all.
That's perfect.
I don't know why I thought there was a wrestling kart racing game, but
I think there was at one point during the heyday of just putting shit on the consoles.
Maybe. But yeah, Capcom, they should do it.
Oh yeah.
The most you had was
they're the one I can think of that doesn't have one.
Maybe Capcom for Street Fighter goes that route since they can't make a fighter.
Like, I know they had like the Mega Man kart racing game, but that was so long ago. But like, you could do so much with that.
Yeah, and you could.
Jack and Daxter had a kart racer. You can make anything a kart racer, dude.
Yeah.
Do Capcom. You get a Rathalos in a kart. You get Mega Man in a kart. You get
Morgan as a bat kart.
Yeah, you get. Exactly.
A Super Smash Bros. Kart racer. How about that? And call it Nintendo Kart.
Whoa.
All right,
that'd be good. Did you know, speaking of Sonic, that or Sega, that Sonic was maybe kind of sort of going to be in this game? Double Dash?
Oh, I did not know that.
It was something that, because this would have been right after Dreamcast died, and Sega went third party, and it was just something Miyamoto said in passing, but it was something that never really came to be. And there was a Sonic something demo on that aforementioned bonus disc with demos.
Oh, I think it was Sonic Heroes.
I think you're right. But yeah, it was something where like Miyamoto was like, yeah, Sonic's going to be in it. Why not? But yeah, not in this one. But hey, maybe in that Nintendo Smash Kart thing that will come out when Pikmin 4 comes out. And both of them, of course, before Metroid Prime 4. Final thoughts on Mario Kart Double Dash I'm going to pull up our ranking list here.
I don't know. I think this was one of those rare games where I don't think we ever... I think like just through hours of play and me, my friends kind of like... This was before the era of like going to the... I mean, you're right on the verge of it, but like being easily go into the internet and be like, oh, hey, these are the shortcuts on all the maps. I think like there was one of the last sense of discoveries before, I don't know, the internet became real prominent. Again, I think we're there at this point. Like the internet's pretty much everywhere, but I don't know. I feel like
it wasn't part of daily habits to, you know what I mean? Or it
Yeah.
wasn't part of your reaction to be like, well, I'll just look it up.
right. Yeah, there was like sense of discovery there. Go ahead.
You kind of, I took a note down and I didn't know this entire time how to talk about the note that I wrote, but you did it, so thank you. I wrote down the internet ruined video games, and it was for a number of reasons. Like I think that like adding online play did take something away from it. I don't know, like not that we're older now too, so it's a lot different, right? But your exact experience where you would hang out with your friends in a basement for an evening or a day or whatever and play locally is totally different than playing online. Like, granted, right now we could hang up from this and all hop on Switch and play Mario Kart Deluxe for an hour and probably have a fine time, an okay time, even a great time.
And use Discord.
But there
as voice
is something
chat.
different. Yeah, of course. I shouldn't have said hop off of this. We just stay right on it. But yeah, I think we could certainly do that, but there's something different about being together to play a video game together that we don't really have anymore. We don't need to have it anymore. And I think that's gone. But I think too, that sense of discovery and that mystery, like all of those shortcuts that were in this game, like I felt cool and smart finding them as I played and discovered them. And, you know, as the game advertised them to me, right? Like it just kind of showed me like, hey, look over here. Where now, yeah, you could just look it up. And that, you know, it's not as fun. I remember the day that Mario Kart 8 came out, I remember like realizing there was a shortcut in one of the cloud stages where you could like drive and hit a leaf and whatever. And it was like front page IGN, just like all of the, here's every shortcut in the whatever. Here's the 14 shortcuts you missed because you are a person. Yeah.
I guess that was just one like with everyone in the same room, you could also screen cheat. I know it's not like first person shooter screen cheating, but you could see what item they had, especially if you were first and they were like, if you're right behind. So if you saw they had a red shell and you had a banana, you just hold on for dear life to that banana.
Or better, if you're the older brother and they have the blue shell, you can hit them in the face and tell them not to use the blue shell.
Or just unplug their controller.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mark, any final thoughts on Double Dash?
I do enjoy that game for what it is. I do appreciate that it was doing something different. I love the co-op functionality of it. And whenever you're having a bad time with that game, boy, that title music stings. It hits differently.
Does it hit not as bad as Billy Hatcher though? I can tell you that right now.
They're competing for like.
No, they're not. Not
like
in my book.
For like when you're upsetty spaghetti and the last thing you want to hear is some like happy music.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah, I think that this felt like a video game in a really good way. And I love how Japanese this feels. Not many Nintendo games have like a Japanese flavor to them, but like this felt like good, earnest Japanese video game development in a, when things were good. And I really liked the award ceremony after you'd finish a Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah.
They were fun. Okay, so the tough part. Listeners, if you want to follow along with what we've ranked so far, check out thefreecheese.com/the-list. There's, of course, a link to also at the bottom of this page on the podcast post on thefreecheese.com. Also, if you've not been to thefreecheese.com at all this season and you've been listening, you should check it out and check out the cool, weird art that we've been putting together for every episode. Mark's been doing a great job at finding stock photos that appropriately represent the core essence of all of these video games in one way or another. So they've been a lot of fun. Mario Kart Double Dash for me is somewhere right in the middle, but yeah, I guess, Matt, where do you put this one? Because I feel like your gut is going to throw it high, and then your brain is going to pull it back down.
That's exactly what I was going to say when the mic got passed to me here. This is probably going to be the hardest game without looking at the list ahead. But I think knowing roughly what's ahead, this is going to be the hardest game for me to rank, because it probably would have been Metal Gear, but Metal Gear we did so early, right? There wasn't that many games on the list. We're at that part of the list where it's like, all right, well, like if we put it in this chunk, well, I think it's better than this chunk of game, so it's going to be here in this chunk, or like it's like a wave, right? Like there's like it's weird. 2, this is probably the most nostalgic game I have on here, period. So you kind of got those rosy colored nostalgic eyes on it, and I'm glad I didn't sink a bunch of time into it. I didn't get mirror mode unlocked because that requires the all cup, and I just never felt like sitting down with this for an hour and 15 minutes to do it. But I don't know, my gut, like, or after thinking about it a little bit, I think I have it as the new 11, right above SSX Tricky and under Gitaru Man.
Wow.
Mark, what were you thinking?
I was gonna have it as the new number 9.
All right. So when I looked at the list and I looked at where we're at, exactly where Matt just said is exactly where I pictured this. It's like I put it above Tricky, but I don't put it above Gitaru Man. However,
I agree with that.
I think I do like it over Beautiful Joe, so that's a predicament.
So that's the problem. That's the wave I'm talking about. I think if we go above Gitaru Man, I then go above Metal Gear Solid 2 and Beautiful Joe, and right underneath Burnout.
I go above Burnout, and if that's the case.
I like Tarzan Burnout more.
Yeah.
Plus you got, obviously, Sugar Cult.
Well, yeah, of course.
Suck it, Mario.
They should put Sugar Cult in Mario Kart.
Mario Kart doesn't have the announcer per se.
Yeah.
Interrupting your songs. Interrupting that good Rainbow Road song.
I like this right between Gitaru and SSX, but Mark, if you feel strongly about going higher, sell me on it.
I think it being right above Tricky makes perfect sense to me. I think both of those games are kind of cut from the same cloth in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they feel, sorry about that.
But for the record, I think I would go back to Mario Kart before I would go back to Beautiful Joe.
That's tough though, because they're so different, right? Beautiful Joe, you're starting a whole new campaign. Like Mario Kart,
even if I was mid game, and it's like, do I want to continue to save? No, I want to go back and do another lap.
Well, you want to do number 7 because you want to go back to Baby Park, the best map in all of Mario Kart.
That's what I wanted to say, because of like this quote unquote meme that we've had going, or because you've summoned Baby Park into now this circle. I've now spread it to one of my circles, And now, whenever we go to play 8 Deluxe or whatever, we now try to vote Baby Park as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. If you're on an online lobby, because I occasionally go back to 8 and poke around online, I get my ass kicked, but, if you're in a lobby and you see someone vote for Baby Park, good chances are you're probably playing with me. Just gonna throw that out there.
And so, thanks to your childhood.
It's the nightmare that doesn't go away. And much like the track, after, 4 ages, like fine wine. Yeah, laps 1 and 2 are the most boring laps you'll ever play. But 3 through 7, Baby Park becomes like a game of Battle Royale where every race is different.
Calm before the storm. What I call it.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to lock it in at number 12.
That's still pretty high up.
Yes.
Mario Kart
yes.
Double Dash. And with that, we've reached the thrilling conclusion of another episode of the Free Cheese podcast. We will be back next week. I think I'll kick this one off next week. We're going to talk about Peggle.
Oh, snap.
I'm stoked about this one. I'm excited for you guys to play Peggle. Or replay Peggle, if it's been a while. But yeah, come back, hang out, talk Peggle with us next week. Thanks for hanging out and talking Mario Kart Double Dash with us. As always, thank you, Mark, thank you, Matt, and thank you, listener, for listening. We'll see you next week.